This is everything. Just don't do it, it's gross. So it's just a good practice, especially if your flight's over a couple hours. Hey travel lovers, welcome to A Wanderlust for Life. In this video, I'm giving you so many flight tips. This is mainly gonna be how to survive long haul flights, but it definitely works for shorter flights as well. You just take what you need and leave the rest, which is pretty much all of YouTube. Am I right? Before we get into it, go ahead and hit subscribe if you want more travel tips, European adventures, life in Amsterdam, and more, because I would love to have you join the community. But let's just jump right in, shall we? Personally, I've been on about 20 long-haul flights through my entire life, and that's going from the US to Europe and from Europe to Asia usually. Now this might be to visit family, this might be for work, this might be for many things, but basically I've had the 8-hour flights and I've had the 12-hour flights. And we are about to fly to Bali for the first time. Yay! I feel like every travel vlogger has been there, and now it's my turn. It is a 17-hour flight. Now it is not a direct flight per se, but our flight stops in Singapore and then continues on to Bali, but we are on the same plane. So that's 17 hours and some change on one plane. So I am preparing for that trip, and I figured I would share that with you based on our history of flying to Hong Kong twice and Singapore once, and those were both around 12 hours. Oh, are you nervous about something like that? Because I definitely am. So it's really important to stay comfortable, to stay hydrated, to stay moisturized, to stay moving throughout that flight. So these are some of the things that I've done in the past. These are some tips that I've heard of recently that I figured I would share with you. I think it's important to say that we fly KLM most of the time. So we have status, so we get a free checked bag. We will be checking our bag on this flight. So I will have 2 carry-ons, but it's gonna be a little different than if you take like a rolly bag and a regular carry-on, but I'll kind of get into that as well. But what I wanted to say about it is I'm gonna actually use the tile. Now, a lot of people are talking about AirTags. I have a Google Pixel phone. Before that, I use Samsung. I am not an Apple person. Let me know down below if you're Apple or Android or something else. But I think that anytime that you fly, having something like this is really handy. If you don't know what it is, it basically helps locate your suitcase if it gets lost. And it kind of bounces off different people's phones so it can give you an approximate location. Mainly it's to say, if you get somewhere, and always keep that little sticker they give you that comes with your luggage tag, always keep that. That's how they track it. But it always helps if you can tell them, I can see it's actually still in Amsterdam. That way they're not searching for it in Bali or in Singapore if it accidentally got off the plane. So that's why I'm going to be using this. Not sponsored or anything, but this is something that is new to my gear. Before flying, go ahead and sign up for their rewards program, no matter which airline you're going with. If they have one, sign up for it. It's going to be free, and if you do continue flying for whatever reason, you may get benefits in the future. Like I said, we have status with KLM, and we get a free checked bag. Sean gets free lounge access. You know, we've gotten upgraded before, so there's always a possibility, but if you're not in their system, then there's no luck in it. So it's always good to just sign up for it, and that way you can also get emails for if they're having sales and things like that. It's always a good plan. Similarly, book your seat ahead of time if you can. Now, you can use, Seat Guru to find the best seats on the plane, but mainly I would suggest staying away from the last row if you're using a long haul flight, because they don't recline, and that's usually right next to the bathroom. Personally, I would try to stay away from the bathroom just because there's usually a lot of people around and it can get kind of loud. But whether you want the middle, like part of the plane, the outside part of the plane, the aisle, the window, at least you can choose before you get on that flight. Now, Sean and I use a trick that is not unique to us. We tend to book the aisle and the window and leave the middle seat free if it's 3 seats in a row. And usually there's nobody sitting in the middle. If there is, they're usually happy to exchange for one of the other seats. Pack as light as you can. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not packing super light for this trip. Mainly because there's just things that I want to take, and because I get a checked bag, I don't really have to worry about it. But if you pack light, it's less for you to deal with, and depending on what kind of trip you're taking, you're going to be lugging it around to train stations or into cabs or rolling it down rumbly streets. You never know. So it's always good to keep it light. I know that is a general tip, but it really, really, really helps. And if you can keep it to a carry-on size, even better. So what you want to do is you'll want to put your big carry-on in the bin. And depending on the flight that you're on, you may have to put it in where it's flat and long ways, which really sucks because you can't put a lot in it. So basically it would be like this. Can you see that? I feel like I wish I had a plane so I could demonstrate this for you. But if you have it like this, the wheels are right here and the top handle's right here. But normally you want the wheels to be in the back. That way you can pull it out easily, and that is how it's really designed to go in. Sometimes on the intercontinental flights, you can put it in like on its side, which is great because then you can put a lot more in the overhead compartment. Always try to keep your smaller item with you under the seat. That is for a couple reasons. That is what we're talking about today, to keep you comfortable, to keep all the things that you're gonna be using on the flight with you, but also that is kind of the rule, and I like to follow the rules. And that's just so that everybody can get their big bag up top. Now, if you do have a bigger bag up top, my tips are gonna go for your personal item. So this is my normal personal item. If you've been following me for a while, you've seen this, you've seen me pack this. This is gonna be a new adaptation for that kind of a packing idea, but you can use what I'm gonna do today and just put it into this bag. I don't actually know what I'm filling this bag with yet, but I will be taking this and my Peak Design 5 liter. They don't make this anymore. I'm very sorry. They do make a 6 liter. You can probably use that similarly, but I want to tell you why I'm going to do this. It's really fun. But in this, no matter what kind of personal item you're taking, if you check a bag, and even if you use a rolly bag to carry on, they may take it. So you want to always have everything you absolutely need in this bag. That includes medication. That means that you should be putting this tile in that trolley, that rolly bag. That means that you want anything to keep you comfortable in this thing. It also means spare clothing. Just in case they lose your bag, you want to make sure you have spare clothing. So I'm using a packing cube for this because I'm going to Bali. It was a little easier to fit some more in here. So I think I have 2 dresses and 2 pairs of underwear, an extra bra, things like that. So you never know, they may lose your bag. It's very possible. So let's talk about some of the main things. So I'm gonna put this over here for now and get into this baby. Okay, so like I said, this is a 5 liter Peak Design bag. I love this bag because it's so versatile, really. And some of these things you're gonna be wearing on the plane, but this is like the fun new thing, so I want to talk about it first. So my idea is to strap this onto the tray table. Again, I don't know if it's gonna work. We're gonna find out. So it has a strap on it that I don't think will necessarily go behind it, but it does have this smaller strap that I can adjust. So yeah, I'm excited to see if that works. But I figure the smaller thing that has all your must-have items is better because then you can easily keep it with you. So in this front zippered pocket, it's always gonna be very full. So I'm gonna keep the flattest things possible in here. But I do have my inhaler. Always keep your meds with you. If it's in your big bag and they take it away, keep them with you. You need to tell them that. I was on a plane recently and she had her meds in her bag. We were flying through Amsterdam. She was going to Mexico. Her bag was going straight through. They took it from her and the flight attendant by us had to get her bag back because she did not take her meds out of it. So do not be that lady. Also, don't be the flight attendants who took her bag even though they said she had meds in it. This is something that you may have seen before if you watch this channel. This is kind of my little to-go pill kit. So what I do is I get only pills that you can, like they're blister packed or they are labeled. So everything is labeled in here, everything is sealed in here. It also includes some Band-Aids, some like stomach pills, things like that. Glasses wipes, we're gonna get into glasses versus contacts here in a second. Face wipes. Now I'm gonna also give you more of a eco-friendly suggestion, but I had these left over from my last trip because I did not have my eco-friendly suggestion yet. So face wipes, I've really liked them. They smell great, they're easy to carry with you, and it is, how do you say this? Micellar water. So that's what these are for. And antibacterial, antiviral wipes for you on the plane. Even flight attendants have said this on YouTube. You want to wipe everything down because you do not know what was there before you got there. I've been doing this for years before the you know what. So that is what is in my front pocket. Let's get into the big stuff. Alrighty, like I said, adapt this to how you need it based on what you need in the bag that you have. But I figured I'm gonna stuff as much in here as possible because I love doing that. So I have warm socks. They're not like super fuzzy, but they're nice thick socks. I have snacks. This is my favorite right now. Grays, have you ever heard of them? I am obsessed with them right now. And they have a bunch of different flavors, but whatever snacks that work for you. I have hand sanitizer because come on, I had this again before the pandemic. I have tissues because you always need tissues, whether or not you're using them for a napkin or your nose or to sneeze into, whatever. I always carry tissues in my day pack as well. I have wired headphones. Now these are my Bose headphones. I love these so much. I bought these refurbished, I guess you'd call them, years and years ago. This was the best investment I have made for headphones, like ever. They are noise canceling and they fit my ear perfectly. And this is so that you can listen to the entertainment center. If you're on a long haul flight, they usually have them. In Europe, short haul flights do not, just so you know. I've also recently gotten Google Pixel Buds Pro. And I have a problem, a little personal, the outside of my ear just is too small. So they don't fit super great, but I will use these for my phone because I have a Pixel phone and it does not have a headphone jack. And yes, I know before you say what everybody else has said, I know you can get an adapter, but whatever. Similarly, you can get a Bluetooth adapter for the plane so that you don't have to have 2 sets of headphones if you have wireless. An external battery, this is everything. It charges my phone so many times. It is a lifesaver, and I have the thing where you can charge this and the one to charge the phone. The cables are inside the little pack, and this is an Anchor one. I'll leave links to most of these things down below for you, but this has been my baby for so long. Sean has one. He also has one that has not contactless, but wireless, where you can put the phone on the battery pack and it charges wirelessly. I have an eye mask, but we're gonna go into that stuff in a little bit. But this one, I'll just tell you, it has a little pocket for the eye, which I really like. I have one of my new favorite things that Sean got me for my birthday. It is an e-writer. It is basically a notepad. It's a digital notepad, but also an e-reader. So you can put your Kindle books on here. You can write notes, whatever you wanna do. It is not a Kindle, it is not a tablet. You cannot do those kinds of things on this, but this is exactly what I needed. And now we're gonna get to the comfort kit. What is a comfort kit, you ask? Well, it's what keeps you comfortable, duh. Now, the socks are definitely part of the comfort kit, but it gets better. So I guess with the socks, let me point out one other thing. If you like to dress a certain way for the flight, in case you get upgraded or you just want to look kind of nice, that's great. I think that's awesome. I tend to bring on, don't judge me, Tom's slipper shoes. I love these, so I will take off sneakers and I will put my socks on, and that's how I will stay most of the flight. So I will be double socked. And then I will use these when I get up and walk around, because you do not want to walk around the plane in your socks, guys. Just don't do it, it's gross. The other pair of socks that I'll be wearing are compression socks. Now, I just got these on Amazon years ago. I have 3 pairs. I will wear these to the airport. If you don't want to, you can pack it in your bag and you can do it on the plane, but I would suggest not, because then your feet are out in the open. I would prefer to keep them socked the whole time. Compression socks are just a really healthy thing on the plane, just due to air pressure and being sedentary and the way that your knees are bent and things like that. So it's just a good practice, especially if your flight's over a couple hours. Definitely wear this. So of course, a 13 to 17 hour flight would qualify. Also, before you get on the plane, I would have a shawl. This is a short girl tip for you, or a short person tip for you. I use this, so you can use this as a blanket. You can use this wrapped up and lay on it. What I have done is I will take 2 of these just for this reason, but I will make a knot on one side. I will put it over, I've done this better before, but I will put this over the tray table and I will like rest my feet in here. It helps me a lot and it keeps me very, very comfortable. Most places my feet don't touch the ground. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm 5'1". A lot of places, if I sit all the way back, my feet don't touch the ground. So I use a tip like this. But this can also, like I said, be used as a blanket because you never know if you actually want to use the ones on the flights and you don't know if they're actually gonna have any on the flights. And while we're talking about keeping warm and comfortable, definitely dress in layers. So you might want like a tank top, and then a t-shirt or like a half sleeve shirt, and then something that you zip up or button up. So I have this hoodie and it's a nice like medium weight hoodie as well. And honestly, I got it from booking.com when I worked there. But it's really comfortable. I mean, hey, good for me. But I like this because you're not trying to pull things off, and when you're on the plane, you can just zip it up. And then you can also keep things in the pockets when you're boarding. So you'll wear that either around your waist or like actually on you. And then you can just put this in the pocket or your other bag. I've also got a neck pillow. So I always just carabiner this to my other personal item. And mine is a packable one. Not all of them are, but usually they'll have a loop or something. If not, you can always just wear it on the plane. I get the one with a little clasp. Now, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. This goes around the front of your neck. Now, I know not everybody thinks that a neck pillow is a good idea. That's fine. Again, do what works best for you. I will give you an alternative in a minute. Now let's get to the comfort kit. I feel like I'm putting it off. Why am I putting it off? I don't know. So I use just the regular clear toiletry bag that you can take through security. Now this is just the Kiehl's one I got years and years ago, and I got a bunch of different Kiehl's things. The right size Ziploc bag is also fine. So this is gonna be for freshening up, either as soon as you get on the plane, in the middle of the flight, when you get off the plane, really whenever you want to, but those are usually the key times that you might wanna do that. So I have deodorant in case you get a little smelly. Some moisturizer. Now this will come after you use either the face wipes that I've already mentioned, or you can just use, bring your own liquid, micellar water, and some reusable cotton rounds, and then you can just clean your face and then moisturize. And even better if you have a moisturizer with sunscreen. It has been recommended to wear sunscreen on the plane. And I really just like Nivea, depending on where you're from. Mouthwash, I'll be honest, I don't bring toothpaste and toothbrush for the plane because I do not want to brush with the water in the sink, and I'm not likely to take water into the bathroom. If you're American and you have access to Wisps or something like that, like the little throwaway toothbrushes, awesome. I have not found them here in Europe. So if you know about them, please let me know. As soon as you get on the plane, take out your contacts. And yes, I'm wearing contacts today. Take out your contacts, make sure you have your little container unless they're dailies, and wear your glasses because the air is very, very dry. That is why we're wearing moisturizer. That is why you want your contacts to come out. Similarly, Nivea cream, I love this stuff. It's in such a easy to carry little tin. It's a thicker, heavier cream, so I tend to use it like on my elbows or anywhere that I'm just like, when you start to get the itch, I use this. But I really like having multi-purpose things. So this is a Bath & Body Works CO Bigelow Rose Salve, and I worked for Bath & Body Works on and off for like 7 years as part-time just because I really liked it, and I got hooked on this stuff. Now this is great for also your elbows, but lips and really anything. It's very, very multi-purpose, and I love the smell of it. And if you have longer hair, a comb or a foldable hairbrush, also hair clips and hair ties. That is what's in the comfort kit. Again, it's perfect. As soon as you get on the flight, take out your contacts, take off your makeup, moisturize. Keep in mind, like 20-ish minutes before the flight goes down. Not the right thing to say. Lands, about 25 minutes before the flight lands, you're not really gonna be able to move around much. Also, other people are gonna try to be going to the restroom. So you need to try to time it appropriately so that A, you're not taking the restroom away from people who need it, but B, it's not super busy. So some of my other tips that I have for you. You can bring a pillowcase. Now this tip came from a flight attendant. You can stuff some extra clothes in a pillowcase if you like and use it as a pillow. They don't check apparently, but this has gone around YouTube and TikTok for a while, so I don't know. Also, you can take a pillowcase and stuff your sweater, your jacket, your scarf, whatever you have in there, and then you can lay on that. Or if you want to use the blanket they give you and put it in a pillowcase. I've heard weird things of whether they're washed in between flights or not. I really have no idea. But if that concerns you, you can always put it in a pillowcase and then use it that way. I think that's a fun one if you don't want to use a neck pillow, right? And whatever personal bag that you bring, I highly recommend using pouches to separate things so that you can easily find them. Now, I used to use this pouch for all of my I need right now things. So my tablet would go in here, my headphones, books, whatever I was going to use was going to go in here. And I would just take that out and put it into the front seat pocket. So that's something for you as well if that works better for your situation, especially if you're only gonna be having one personal item, whereas I kind of have two. I forgot to show you, because I forgot it was in here, a pen. Always have a pen with you when you fly. I really like this. I mean, this is a free one that I got from a hotel, but it's a pen, but it also has this thing on it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's for touching like digital products. So your phone, it should work on the TV. So you can use this to touch that instead of your finger if you'd like. I really like this. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. If I find some, I will leave that linked below for you. Also, I have never personally used it, but melatonin, if you need to sleep on a flight, I've heard that's great. I have no specific advice on that. I'm not a doctor. If you are concerned, talk to a pharmacist or a doctor or something else about that. If you are going on an airline that is not full service, and I actually forgot about this because KLM is full service and you don't pay for food, make sure your wallet is accessible. I can't tell you how many times, like once we don't fly KLM for some reason, like they don't go to where we're going or something, I always have to like dig for my wallet to be able to pay for food if you don't have enough snacks with you. Now, I highly recommend bringing a packable little tote bag for yourself as your snack bag. Like if you're just piling it in before you get on the plane so you don't have to buy food, definitely bring the reusable bag because that will really, really help. And you can always try to bring a plug. You can try to bring a converter plug. If the plane has an outlet for you, you can definitely try to use that. I literally have never done that, so I will use the USB plug sometimes. But I do tend to keep the plug like in my bigger personal items so that if we are in a lounge or in the airport or even in the hotel and we have to leave our luggage somewhere, we have a plug for it. So that's definitely something else. And if you want to be really, really nice, you can bring little thank you notes or even chocolates or something for the flight attendants. They work really hard, and let me tell you, if it is a 12, 17-hour flight, they need your love. And I'm sure they would really appreciate a little thank you. A water bottle. You have to have a water bottle. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Have a water bottle. Now, you can't take it through security, but you can fill up after security. Usually airports have a water fill station specifically for water bottles. If you can't find one, you can also ask like one of those quick service stations. Sometimes they're willing to fill it up for you. Some airports, be careful. I think at Singapore airport, I had done this, and then you go through security at the gate. Why is that a thing? Oh my God. So just know that's a possibility. You could always check before you go or just ask somebody who's been there before who lives there on the internet is fine. But yeah, fill up the water bottle after security if at all possible. Last but not least, get some movement. Make sure you stand up when you can. You find some time to walk up and down the aisle. I mean, if you're not gonna sleep on a plane, maybe you can do it when everybody else is sleeping, or you can just find some time, and you can maybe even ask the flight attendants when would be a good time to do something like that. So just make sure you have time for movements, even if it's just like chair yoga. And I am not talking about going upside down and putting your feet in different places. I'm talking about, you know, doing some like stretches, you know, moving your ankles, moving your wrists, you know, just moving. Just make sure you move, because that will really help. So what do you think? What other suggestions do you have for people for long flights? And Give me some love down in the comments because I'm gonna need it. And for this flight, it's gonna be a doozy. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.